Good morning, and welcome to the daily devotion video here at Mount Calvary Lutheran Church for Friday, October 24th. My name is Vicar Zachary. This week we've been continuing on with our book, Joining Jesus on His Mission by Pastor Greg Finke. We are wrapping this week to a close looking at chapter 10 called The Mission of God, though I think that it probably is better called The Failing Missionary. And the reason I say that is because what this chapter really looks at is how human failure is not a barrier to the gospel, as we often think that it is. And on that thought, I want to launch into the scripture that we have for today. It comes from the book of Psalms, Psalm 37, verses 23 through 26. The steps of a man are established by the Lord, when he delights in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be cast headlong, for the Lord upholds his hand. I have been young, and now am old. Yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, or his children begging for bread. He is ever lending generously, and his children become a blessing. The reason I picked that bit of scripture is because I think it really highlights God's work in our own missionary work. We started this week off by looking at the importance of relationships. And then by also on Tuesday, looking at how we are not the ones doing the majority of mission work, that it is the work of Christ. And that has brought me a lot of comfort, but I know that there are a good number of people out there that are really worried about getting and sharing their faith with others because they think they'll screw it up. And if you ask them, what does screwing it up mean? Like, what does it mean to actually do a bad job witnessing? I have gotten a couple of answers. First is that I simply am wrong, that I explain my faith incorrectly, I give them a misunderstanding of who Christ is and what it means to be a Christian, and that as a result, they will walk away not really knowing what they're supposed to, and that maybe they never take an interest again. And so that was our one shot, and we blew it. Another is that I am afraid of sharing my faith because I think people will be angry with me, that it will change how people perceive me, and as a result, some relationships that I really value will have to change because of my faith. And lastly, what it means to fail is to just give them a terrible impression of what it means to be a Christian. That we will get, that they will look at me and they will say, I don't want to be anything like you. So thanks for the kind words about Jesus, but I think I'll go on my way. And I'm not trying to downplay these kinds of fears because they are real and they're things that we have to contend with. But I think a lot of them come from kind of a position of pride in that we think that we are the only ones capable of bringing certain people into Christ. And what chapter 10 really focuses on is that Jesus is always at work, that Jesus is the one doing the hard work, and he knows humanity really well. He knows that we are going to fail. We say in our confessions that we, by no merit or power or strength of our own, can bring ourselves to salvation. And that's true. That's why we confess it. But I think that we kind of turn that part of our brains off when it comes to missionary work, that we can, by some power or strength of our own, bring someone to faith in Jesus Christ, even though we say that we can't do that for ourselves. And so it's really important to keep in mind when we look at missionary work and sharing our faith with others, that there is really no true failure. And that doesn't mean that we should fly off half-cocked. By all means, we should study and learn and make sure that we know what we're doing, though not so much that we never do anything, if we remember a couple of weeks ago. But often, the biggest way we fail in witness is by failing to witness at all, by failing to share our faith with anyone, because we are afraid. Instead, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to share your faith and it maybe not go the way you were expecting. Pastor Finke uses the image of a GPS, and I think it is a really strong way of describing it, though I will make a couple adjustments of my own. When you're driving somewhere with a GPS and you miss the turn that you were supposed to make, because you are human, because we make mistakes, the GPS does not just say, well, that's it, we blew it. Better go home, try again later. No, it takes a couple of seconds and it says recalculating, and it gives you a new route to get to where you want to go. This can be a really healthy way to look at our witness. Even if we make a couple mistakes, even if we make, we kind of blow one encounter or we didn't really expect things to go the way that they did, God is always at work. God is going to use our failings and our successes to bring people to Him. And so we just got to get out there and try. We got to get out there and talk to people because, like I said, the only way we can truly fail when it comes to witness is by failing to witness at all. I want to thank you so much for joining me this week for another set of daily devotions. And I hope that as we go forward from this into the coming weeks, you will really consider all the wonderful ways that God is at work in the world and all of the relationships that He is using through you and with you in order to bring people to Jesus. And with that, I want to leave you off. I hope you have a blessed rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you again in a couple weeks. Blessings.